Is this the next offensive coordinator?
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Locked On Sooners, and thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase over at Game Time. He's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. The biggest question facing the Oklahoma Sooners is, what are they going to do at offensive coordinator? We still have 2.5 weeks of the regular season left. Maybe a bowl if they get a little bit lucky against Alabama or LSU. But right now, it's offensive coordinator season for the Oklahoma Sooners. Jay, there have been several names that have been thrown out there already. Who is a name that you're looking at, do you think generates the most buzz and is maybe the most intriguing option for you?
I think the one that's been buzzed up the most has been Dan Mullen, former head coach at Florida, Mississippi State. He's now an analyst. He's been an analyst for 3 years now. So he's kind of been disconnected from the game, but he's the name that's been brought up the most, mainly because not only does he have SEC ties, he has head coaching experience and calling plays. And so it's kind of one of those guys you can bring in, plug and play, because you know that he's looking for a head coaching job regardless. This is one of those jobs he can come in, get his feet wet, get excited, and boom, jet off to another head coaching job, which then leaves you right back into the exact same scenario you're in today. Even though I've already said, John, mentioned this before, told everybody, expect the Oklahoma Sooners to hire somebody and them not be here longer than 2 years. That's just kind of how it is, unless they pick an up-and-coming coach. But do we want to go up-and-coming? That's really the question.
On Dan Mullen, I think it's an intriguing option. I think dating back to his time at Mississippi State that he's a good coach. He's somebody that can get the most out of his players. He can do more with a little bit less. Remember, that Mississippi State team rose to number 1 in the nation, beat Alabama. That's Dak Prescott. That's the Dak Prescott vibe. At the same time, Dak was magic that year. It kind of had similar vibes as Cam Newton, Auburn, 2010, 2011. What season was that?
What year was that?
Anyway, it's not that important. I just want to make sure I said it right. Anyway, it had some of those same vibes too. So would it be similar? 2014. Wow, I was way off. His Florida stop wasn't as successful as his Mississippi State stop, but it is an intriguing name in that he is an experienced coach. He is a veteran. He's done a lot of calling the plays. He has had a lot of success at the collegiate level. But again, I think it's just a 1-year rental sort of a situation. It's somebody that you kind of tie your hopes to if you're Brent Venables. And if everything works out good, then Brent Venables, you're looking for your next offensive coordinator once again. If it doesn't, then it's kind of probably going to be cleaning house following the 2025 season.
Fair. On that, though, I mean, when Mullen went to Florida, his first 2 years, 10-3 and 11-2, not too bad. Now, the Kobe year, 8-4, and then he went 5-6. I put it this way. He did way better than what Billy Napier is doing right now. But at that point, again, and you're right, it's more of it was trending a little the opposite direction for him at Florida. And then he never went back into the coaching game. He just he's been chilling. So like I said,
broadcasting, doing the analyst gig.
Which, do you want to leave? It's kind of a cush job. Like why would you want to leave that? Right.
Right. I mean, if you're a coach, you get that itch to coach. You just do.
True. But I guess the question still lies, how do you feel about going after an up-and-coming coach for Oklahoma? Because if the Oklahoma Sooners do grab an up-and-coming coach, Brent Venables has the opportunity to allow for this team to have a coach that could be here for 3 to 4 years. Are we looking for the 3 to 4 year, or are we looking for the immediate splash? Because the argument for Dan Mullen is he'd come in, and like you said, he's a rental. He is at most 2 years. Then you're going to be going to someone else. Is that a bad idea?
I don't love the idea. Let me just say it that way.
That's fair.
I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. I'm just going to say I don't love the idea. I want somebody that creates a bit of more enthusiasm than just, hey, he's an experienced guy and he's got a lot of potential with Oklahoma's talent. That's fine. It'll be fine. It's like a little bit better than Ted Roof, right? You brought Ted Roof in, an experienced voice to run Brent Venables' defense. Now, it'd be Dan Mullen running Dan Mullen's offense, so it's not as disconnected. And Dan Mullen had a lot more experience and a lot more success calling plays for the offense than Ted Roof did for the defense.
It's
I
true.
want them to find the right guy, whether he's Zach Alley's age or if he's Steve Spurrier, you're bringing him out of retirement sort of a situation. Like, I don't care who it is, what the age is. I like the idea of having some continuity year over year, but the same could be true for like a Joe Craddock. Let's talk about him next. If he comes in here and he has success for a couple of years, you might be in the same boat. If Oklahoma is, successful on offense over the next 2 years, you're looking for another offensive coordinator after that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. I truly have that expectation for any coach that we take. I don't think that there's gonna be a coach that we get that's gonna be here 3 years is the max, unless we go after a super young coach, which we'll talk about. There's 2 younger coaches we could talk about in a minute, but the Joe Craddock piece is very intriguing to me. He's doing really special stuff down there at Tulane. I mean, they're 8-2 right now, and they're probably going to fight Boise State for an opportunity to play in the playoffs. So they're doing very well. Their offenses are super explosive. Plus, Joe Craddock does have ties to Brent Venables. They worked at Clemson together because Craddock was an assistant there, analyst there. So there's a connection there. They understand each other, and he was there during Clemson's heyday of offense and the Brent Venables defense being there. That he coaches at a pace that Oklahoma and Brent Venables would truly benefit from. So that's not a bad one at all. But then you start looking at the younger guys.
Yeah, and just real quick on this, I thought he had a pretty solid game plan against Oklahoma. Again, the talent difference is going to be noticeable, but I really thought that that Darren Mensah played a pretty solid game. Things kind of fell apart for them late in that game, but remember, this was a 24-19 game in the fourth quarter. Tulane was right there with the Sooners, and then again, things started kind of falling apart. Tulane got the interception return for a touchdown. But again, I liked what Joe Craddock was cooking up. He was using some of those over routes and getting Oklahoma's secondary out of position like we've seen a lot this year. He was doing some of the same things, getting the most out of a guy like Mario Williams, who, again, uber talented dude, just hadn't really put it together yet, putting it together with Tulane. So an intriguing option. Who else is on your list that you want to talk about?
So there's two. If you go young, your 2 young names that one just popped up. I think KREF just posted a post over on X about it. It's Ben Arbuckle over there at Washington State. He's one that a lot of people are keeping their eyes on. And to me, I don't think he's proven enough for me. I mean, he was at Western Kentucky. Not bad. Went to Washington State. They're doing some stuff this year. Cool. But I think Mac Leftwich is probably more intriguing to me in comparison. Now, Mac is down at Tennessee State. I get it. Tennessee State. But he was the offensive coordinator for Cam Ward and Incarnate Word. And we've seen what Cam Ward was. That's when Cam Ward was really putting up numbers. That's when people recognize, find a way to get him a transfer. He went to Washington State, and then boom, he is now at Miami working to be a Heisman finalist. So he was a part of that initial find of a Cam Ward and getting him going. Mac is young. Him and GJ Klein, if I'm correct, Leftwich is the one that calls the plays. Klein's a head coach, but Leftwich does actually call the plays there. So that one's a young, intriguing one. But I got one name that to me is a dark horse, but at the same time could be an admission of wrongdoing at Oklahoma. Matt Wells. He's doing really good at Kansas State. I would totally take him back. But it's also an admission that, we probably should have promoted him from analyst instead. But I digress. I am willing to say that we were wrong and bring him back. Come home. Come home, Matt. You know what you're doing. You're actually a solid OC, and you were a former head coach for some years. You know what you're doing. You know how to run it. You have a great relationship with Brent Venables, and you understand how the balance needs to be for the SEC. He's considered a dark horse option, in my opinion, but I don't think it's actually viable. but it's someone I would totally pick up the phone and call.
He's had some success at different stops along the way. You know, you go back to Utah State and Jordan Love, and you're seeing what Jordan Love's doing now in the NFL. He is a good offensive play caller. Things didn't really go well for him at Texas Tech, but that's not all him. He wasn't left necessarily with the best situation after the Cliff Kingsbury years as well. A lot of intriguing options. We'll hear more buzz about some certain guys over the next few weeks as Oklahoma winds down the regular season and looks to make their next offensive coordinator hire. Who are some players that haven't played much or at all in 2024 that Jay and I are looking forward to seeing or hoping we can see in the final two games? Let's discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
Get ready to tackle NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and you get $150 in bonus bets if you win your bet. So you've got to make sure you pick the right one. Right now, college football's got a lot of nice games this weekend. You can look at Colorado -11.5 versus Utah. You can check out Arizona -1.5 versus Houston. A little bit wild. Or Auburn -23.5 against University of Louisiana Monroe. You think they can actually score points in that game? I don't know, but FanDuel app gives you everything you need to place live bets on college football and NFL all in one place. So when you get that hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all from the same place where you make your bet. So just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Jay, who is somebody that hasn't played a whole lot for the Oklahoma Sooners that you're hoping you get to see over the final two games?
I'm probably going to go to some of the younger guys, but honestly, I want to see some more of the defensive line guys. I want to see some Nigel Smith. I want to see some Daniel Koye. I'm ready to see those dudes show up. I'm ready to see what they have to offer for the rest of the season. I know that they're both, I know their talent. I know the defensive line is very talented. The defensive line going forward is probably one of the more talented rooms we have. And the best part about it is that we stacked very heavily on that 23 class and 24 class. So we've got a combination of dudes, but the ones that just came in with Stoney and all of them, they're the future for the next 3 years. And you're going to get 3 to 4 years out of all of those dudes. So we've got it up until about 27, 28 with more guys coming behind them to help out. So I'm pretty stoked to see what Nigel and all of them looks like over the next couple of games. I'm hoping we get to see more run. I know that they're still bulking up and getting, their skill set down, but man, I'm ready to see how SEC ready they are.
It's been an area of a strength for the Sooners.
Yeah.
The defensive line has been so good, and you aren't necessarily going to take a bunch of guys off the field, but if you have an opportunity to get Nigel Smith and Danny Okoye on the field, Wyatt Gilmore, Ashton Sanders, Marcus Strong, get them on the field a little bit more, even if it's just for a series, half a series, get them a handful of snaps. That's beneficial. Just getting a feel for the game, getting to sit and play in a college football environment, hearing the roar of the crowd, getting juiced up a little bit and getting to get out there and run and stretch your legs. Taylor Wine, another one of those guys that has not played a whole lot, but has plus ability and somebody that can help you as part of at least the rotation down the road. Get some experience for those guys. Get them an opportunity to get on the field. Again, everything's going to be earned, but that's a great opportunity. I'm going to get pretty obvious here. Eddie Pierre-Louis, Isaiah Autry-Dent, got to see those guys. Maybe they don't start. Maybe they don't play more than half the snaps, but you got to play them. I think you got to play at least 20 snaps for each of those guys in each of the final two games.
Yes.
Again, it's about just getting experience.
That's the most important thing is you need these guys to get them prepped for next season. We're on to 2025. We're on to Cincinnati, like Bill Belichick says. We are looking forward. And that's the thing that we need to focus on. We don't need to sit here. I mean, great. I want us to go to a bowl game. I like to go 6-6.
Yeah.
Get an upset. Finish the season strong. That would be awesome. While at the same time, I want to see some of these young players start playing, because these are the guys that the whole reason why we started taking these larger recruiting classes was to get players like this. Brent Venables wanted players like this so that Oklahoma can have a foundation of guys that we can not only have play together, but develop and be able to grow together. The offensive line works so much better when you have dudes in your program 2 to 3 years and they've been playing together. Unless you can find some dudes in the portal that are ready to just strap up and go, it's hard to find those players. There's not very many of them. You can occasionally get those at JUCO, but you still need to have that chemistry and cohesion in order to be able to make that happen. So to me, the best bet is to go ahead and start getting those guys opportunity to play. So yeah, I agree. Give me some EPL with some Isaiah Autry did on the right side, like give Waywoo some rest. Keep Heath Uzeda on the left with Logan Howland and make that your offensive line and see what happens with Troy Everett and see if those 5 dudes can make that happen. Granted, that's your 11th configuration in 10 games, but
let's go for a record.
Let's go for it. Let's see if we can get a configuration every single week for the rest of the season and just say that we only had 2 games all season long where we had the same configuration. That would be awful to say, but at the same time, amazing to see that we were able to do it.
Yeah, the only consistency this year has been the inconsistency of who we've had available up front. Another name I want to throw out there, Davin Mitchell. Let's get him on the field. I want to see the 4-star tight end. I know maybe he's not ready to play, but get him on the field in some passing concepts. Get him on the field and just, hey, let's see what you can do in the route concept. Let's see what you can do as a pass catcher. You don't have to have him block.
It's true. Just go and see if he's as athletic and as good as we've heard, with him. And I guess we're going to have to have the conversation about the elephant in the room for the Oklahoma Sooners is who the heck's going to be the quarterback going forward. I mean, you got to bye weeks. Luckily, everybody's going to get themselves rested and figure it out. But at the same time, that's going to have to be addressed. We'll save that for next week.
Yeah. I think they should have an open quarterback competition at this point. Xavier Robinson, should he play in either the final 2 games or should they redshirt him?
That's the tough part. Do you want to go to a bowl game or not? And I think that hinges on him playing. And it's most likely if I was to play him, it's probably going to be LSU. That will be the game I'll play. I think LSU is the most winnable game out of the last 2. Even though it's on the road, I think it's the most winnable game. Because I think Alabama's starting to ascend, but you can go out there and be competitive against Bama and mess things up. It's all about Jalen Milroe. How do you contain him? And since we are number 2 in defensive rushing efficiency right now in the SEC, Oklahoma Sooners defense is definitely at the point that we would like it to be. I think we're 44th in pass efficiency in the country, like kind of middle of the road in passing. So if that's what we're going to be, John, I think the LSU game is probably the most likely game that we can potentially win. And then you want Xavier just running down and throw him and Taylor Tatum, just have them run the ball nonstop.
Yeah. And you could have Javonte Barnes back for Alabama and for LSU. I mean, he's going to have 2 weeks to rest and make sure that ankle is right before getting back on the field. If you have him back, maybe you don't have to play Xavier Robinson either the final 2 weeks and you can save his red shirt. But I'm of the mind, get your really good player out there so that you can use him in helping your offense get better.
True.
I want to see, listen, we've seen really, really good things out of Jacob Jordan. And so we got to see more. We got to just see him out on the field. I know he's at that red shirt threshold too. The next game he plays burns his red shirt, but honestly, let him play. He's going to be, he's been one of the better and, best bright spots that you've had all season long.
No, I agree with you there. I think you play him. I think it depends on the quarterback because it seems like Hawkins had a different relationship with different receivers. I feel like Jacob Jordan and Jackson Arnold had a connection. And it feels like actually Hawkins was throwing it to either Hester and Kearney a lot more when he was playing. So I think it depends on if you play Jackson Arnold, you got to play Jordan. Just let Jacob Jordan burn the red shirt, screw it, get the guy on the field, and make it happen. Because one snap is still pretty ridiculous in my mind, just like it was for you against Missouri. But if you're going to play Michael Hawkins, make sure you have Zion Kearney with J.J. Hester, put Brennan Thompson in the slot. And if Burks is playing, which I guess it appears he possibly is, if he decides to, go ahead and play those 4 and boom, and try to open up the offense as much as possible.
Yeah, there's no reason not to play Zion Kearney and Ivan Carrion very much, there's no reason not to play him a bunch in this game. You've already burned the red shirts. You can red shirt them next year when you have Jaden Gibson and Jaleel Farouk and Deion Burks and Nick Anderson all back. You can redshirt all those guys that you probably plan to redshirt this year. You can do it next year and still have that flexibility moving forward. But now's the time. Now's the time to get some of these guys some experience. Just let them get a game feel. Let them get out there and hit somebody that's not on their team. Let them go try to catch some passes. Let them see if they can do something. Because remember, we didn't know who we knew who Jacob Jordan was. We didn't know what he was capable of until he got out on the field and he actually got an opportunity. Now, I'm sure he earned that opportunity because of what he's done in practice, but I'm sure that there are guys out there on the practice field that are playing good ball that just need an opportunity to play on the field. So some guys rise to the occasion. They play better when they get into live game action than what they do on the practice field. So now's the time. Unload the clip. Just throw everything up against the wall and see what sticks moving forward. We're going to take a little bit of a deep dive into Jackson Arnold and his season. Just how bad has it been? One of my favorite sporting events to go to, live basketball. I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, but my first live basketball game was actually an Oklahoma City Thunder game. I had the best time. My wife and I, we went on our dating anniversary while we were still dating, and it was such a great time. And basketball season is in full effect right now, and Game Time is the best place to go get your last-minute deals and the best prices guaranteed over at Game Time. I'm looking right now. On Friday, the Phoenix Suns are coming to the Paycom Center to play the Oklahoma City Thunder. $18 right now over at Game Time. Game Time has a feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They've also got a great feature called the All-In Pricing. You toggle this feature and it shows you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Again, they've got the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Jay, we were talking earlier this week, and we were just kind of looking at some of the numbers on Jackson Arnold just to see what his season has been like, and went over to Pro Football Focus. And I'm gonna run through some of this, and you can react to it. So among Power 5 quarterbacks with 20% of the total dropbacks for the most dropbacks in the Power 4, I should say, not the Power 5, Jackson Arnold is 73rd in yards per attempt this season. 73rd.
It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be, if I'm being honest.
Out of 76 qualifying quarterbacks at 5.8 yards per attempt. That is not great. That signifies a dude that is not pushing the ball downfield. That signifies an offense that's not able to do much with what the quarterback's doing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
the only quarterback that has a lower yards per attempt than Jackson Arnold is Brock Glenn at Florida State. The only one. That means that DJ Uiagalelei has a higher yards per attempt than Jackson Arnold does.
Really? Ooh.
Can I give you another one?
Yeah. Please throw more stats at me. I'm kind of curious.
Average depth of target. This is how many yards down the field Jackson Arnold's targets go on average. 60th, tied for 60th in the nation at 8.1 yards per attempt. Not great. It's not great, but it is tied with Shadur Sanders. It is better than Dylan Gabriel, and it's better than Quinn Ewers. So what does that tell us, Jay? That tells us that not only is Jackson Arnold not pushing the ball down the field, but his receivers aren't doing much whenever they do connect
at all. And it's like the offense isn't being shaped to where he can get rid of the ball quickly downfield. Like you said, he's higher than Quinn Ewers, but Quinn does a lot of check downs, dinking and dunks.
Mm-hmm.
They do a lot of creative plays. I mean, Sarkisian's a pretty much a wizard right now when it comes to the way he runs his offense. He gets super creative in the stuff he does, and that's what you kind of got to do if you want to. If you're running into a situation where your quarterback is going to struggle, you need to make it easier for him, and that's basically what Sark has done. Can't be mad at him for that. But it is super interesting, though.
It's creating efficiency. They're creating efficiency for their quarterback. They're not making things so challenging. They're allowing them to throw bubbles. They're allowing them to throw the tunnel screens, the swing passes to the running back or the wide receiver coming out of the backfield. They're hitting the easy button for Quinn Ewers, for Dylan Gabriel, two really, really experienced quarterbacks. Shadur Sanders, he's right there with Jackson Arnold in average depth of target. These offensive coordinators are helping their quarterback out
a lot.
And then you go back to the yards per attempt number. So if Jackson Arnold's throwing the ball further down the field than Quinn Ewers and Dylan Gabriel, and as much as Shadur Sanders, you'd think that he'd have a higher yards per attempt, but he's not been super accurate. And his wide receivers aren't doing much with it when they catch it. And we saw that this past week against, the other part of that is the scheme is not creating opportunities for them to create completions in space. The only ones we're seeing are Bauer Sharp in the flat, catching balls for 0 or negative yards.
Yeah. Something that we probably should do less of.
Sorry. Here's the next one. NFL passer rating. So this is the passer rating tool that the NFL uses. Pro Football Focus utilizes this as well. It includes everything that happens after the catch. So all of the yardage. It's not just what the quarterback creates, which is a more of a QBR rating. It doesn't allow the quarterback to get credit for yards after the catch.
Okay.
Jackson Arnold is 48th among Power 4 quarterbacks. That's not great. 48th out of 76 qualifying Power 4 quarterbacks. Not good. He has taken the most sacks of the 76 Power 4 quarterbacks that qualify. He has the highest pressure to sack ratio in the Power 4. Who's number 2? Arch Manning.
Really?
That's
interesting. So, okay, the
maybe something about a young quarterback holding on to the ball too long.
Something about a young quarterback holding the ball too long. I mean, it's common trend, right? Even if you make it easier, it just kind of happens. Now, I know one thing to kind of think about and consider also here is that the triple T, time to throw.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the 50% of the maximum drop back, so whatnot, and our guy rates, where are you? Number 29, 2.85.
This is pretty solid.
It's actually pretty solid. Noah Fafita's number 1 at 3.24, and he's been abysmal this season. But yeah, he's got a lot more time than you really think. It's just the physical motion of doing this.
Yes,
I think that will help him. Just if it hits somebody's feet, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But just the physical motion will help, I think, long term for Jackson Arnold. Sometimes you just gotta get rid of the ball. It's okay. Everything ain't gonna work out perfectly. Just boom, 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 bow. See what happens.
And some of this is on the offensive coordinators too.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
create some things that get the ball out of his hands quickly, and he has no choice in the matter. The design is the wide receiver screen. You're throwing the wide receiver screen. There's no option. There's no RPO. There's no read. You're throwing it, and we have to get out there and block it. But you're throwing the ball, and that's your only job on this play. That's your only thought is get the ball quick, get it out of my hands quick. Let JJ Hester, Brennan Thompson do something with it quickly. I have no option in this matter. Final one I want to throw at you here. Deep passing attempts. He's 48th. obviously not great. And then deep pass completion percentage. So this is the completion percentage on balls thrown greater than 20 yards down the field is 21.4. That is tied for 68th. There are only 3 quarterbacks in the Power 4 that have a lower completion percentage on throws greater than 20 yards. Marcel Reed of Texas A&M, noted running quarterback with very little experience. Alan Bowman of Oklahoma State, a guy that will be selling cars or insurance somewhere next year. And Ja'Cory Brown of UCF.
Oh, wow.
So not only is he not throwing it down the field very much, but he and his wide receivers are having a really, really hard time connecting on balls down the field. And this is not all to just dump on Jackson Arnold.
No,
and I know it sounds like that. This is to dump on me a little bit because I've sat on this show on a number of occasions and talked about the talent that I see in Jackson Arnold. And I think there is talent there. It's not coming to fruition for whatever reason. There's a lot of reasons. We don't need to name them all. We've done it a number of times on this show.
Yeah.
Jackson Arnold has to be better. The offensive game plan around him has to be better. And the talent around him has to be better. Now, the injuries have killed the talent part of that. Your offensive coordinators have not helped your quarterback. And your quarterback has not helped himself. And that's why we have an offense at Oklahoma that is as bad as it's been this year.
Yeah, that's the thing that we've got to do better on. It's the we just got to make it easier for him. And that's where the new offensive coordinator comes in. That's why we talked about it in the first segment. We know that that's coming down the line. That's what we got to do better. And I think we will. I think the next hire will bring us a guy that's going to be creative enough to at least get us over the hump next season, which is the only thing that matters in my personal opinion. Just keep me over the hump. I think I'm good.
Mm-hmm. And if it's Jackson Arnold or it's Michael Hawkins, whoever it is, you've got to do something to make that quarterback job easier. I don't care if they're an NFL talent, a future first-round pick or not. Make your quarterback's job simple. Make it easy for him. That's your job as the offensive coordinator. It's not to design an offense that's so complicated that defenses can't figure it out. I don't care how complicated it is. If the quarterback can't run it and he can't run it efficiently, it needs to be scrapped. And again, this isn't all on the offensive coordinators, but there is a part of this that they are responsible for as well. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. We just hit 9,000. Thank you so much again for subscribing. Tell a friend, tell a family member, share it on your socials to subscribe to Locked On Sooners. Go give us a 5-star review over on Apple. It helps other people find out about the show as well. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube as well. Follow me at John 9 Williams. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all your social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is you do to get the social media fix. We are there. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll catch you then. Boomer.
Sooner.